Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. This is the first virtual interview or info session that I am doing. So hopefully this all works out. But I was at your career fair last year and super excited to meet all of the students. So this will be fun, and I'll just share a little bit about our school, and then of course open it up to any questions as was shared. So we'll start with some brief introductions. I'll share some information about Equitas Academy, talk a little bit more about the teacher and staff experience that has happened for our team, talk about our application process, and then go through any questions that you might have. So first of all, Equitas Academy is a network of K-8 free public charter schools that provide a structured, achievement-based community that prepares students to graduate from four-year colleges and universities. We were founded in 2009 with only 120 students and currently have close to 1,700. So we've done a lot of growth over the last several years. And our eventual growth plan is to grow to 8 schools over the next several years. We're built on several really strong principles. First of all, high expectations for our students and our teachers, preparing for college readiness, so we have a college-going prep culture. Family partnerships, because we truly believe that we cannot do this work in isolation. We have to build parent partnerships and family relationships in order to truly be successful. And a safe and supportive school community. Again, for both our students and our teachers, we really strive to create a place where everyone feels safe and valued. We currently have 5 schools and are founding our 6th this coming school year. All of our schools are in the Pico Union community. That was a really important part of our mission, and our founder set us up to really have a transformational impact within this one school community. So we're not across states, we're not even across different parts of the city. We are solely focused on Pico Union. And just to tell you a little bit about that community, only 7% of residents over 25 have a 4-year college degree. And so part of what we do is prepare all of our students to be ready for college, which would absolutely change the demographics of this community when you give students the opportunity to attend a 4-year college or university. You can see some of the other stats there that just tell you a little bit about our community, and then the students, we call them scholars, who attend our schools. 95% Latino Hispanic, 92% qualify for free and reduced lunch, 85% are English language learners, and 80% of the students come within the Pico Union boundaries. So that tells you a little bit about who our students are. With that, I want to give you the chance to actually hear from our founder. She was featured in a book called The Founders, and she just talks briefly in this short video clip about why she started Equitas Academy and her vision for our schools. So give me 1 minute to work through the technology here.
I grew up in Pico Union, which is just west of downtown Los Angeles. I'm a 3rd-generation resident. My grandfather bought a house there, and I was raised in the home that my mom was raised in. I was very privileged in Pico Union to go to great schools. Unfortunately, they weren't public schools. I attended the parochial school that my parents attended, and was really able to understand what a great education was, and was able to send me off to a really fantastic college. Unfortunately, that's not the story of many of my cousins and neighbors that I grew up in Pico Union were able to obtain. When I was growing up, there was a lot of busing going on, so if you wanted a great education, you had to leave Pico Union, you had to be bused out for very long hours to the valley. And there just weren't a lot of great choices in Pico Union at that time. So when I came back from college, I was able to come back to my neighborhood, to Pico Union, and become a 2nd grade teacher through the public school system. and really understood what public education looked like and felt like for people that I grew up with, and what it felt like in Pico Union. And I realized that our families just needed more choice and needed access to great schools. An educational opportunity for the community that I love. I was able to design my charter school by gleaning best practices from charter schools across the country. I was very fortunate to get a fellowship through Building Excellence Schools, and I spent a year traveling the country doing a residency at another high-performing charter school, and really looking to see what would work for my community. Taking a piece from here and a piece from there, and then bringing together the model to bring back to Pico Union. I was able to visit many of the schools.
All right, folks, so hopefully that gave you a brief understanding of why Malka, our founder, started Equitas and what we aim to do. And give me 1 second, I'm going to go back to my other screen. Again, thank you for your patience. Sorry about the sound going out there briefly. All right, so that tells you, again, a little bit about where we started and why we were started.
I grew up in Pico.
Sorry. Let me make sure this is sharing the right thing now. Okay, there we go. Can you all see a slide that says we seek to transform Pico Union? Great, okay, thank you for your patience. So that tells you a little bit about why we were founded. We are here to transform the Pico Union community, to close the opportunity gap, to change the story that is true for so many of the students growing up in Pico Union, to offer a pathway to college degrees and be of and for our community. I mentioned earlier that we are in a growth trajectory. By 2022, we will operate 8 schools serving over 3,700 students, which will be 20% of the Pico Union area. And again, that is by design, that we want to have a deep impact within this one community to really change the story and to change what has been true, so that every student has the opportunity to get an excellent education. It doesn't have to just be luck, or it doesn't have to be just because your parents figured out how to bust you out or have enough money to send you to a private school, but that every student has a great opportunity. But as you heard, we started out very humbly in 2009 with just 120 students. There was, right from the start, it was clear that there was a need for the school. We had 40 kinder and first grade students enroll in just one day. Over the next several years, we opened several more schools. Each time it's seen some success with what was then API scores and becoming a gold ribbon school. We grew as a staff team and also with our students until this school year. We currently serve 1,700 scholars on the road to college. These are just a few of their smiling faces as they are hard at work in their classrooms. To share a little bit about the accomplishments of our schools, some of you might be familiar with a report that came out earlier this year. It was through a partnership actually with USC and Innovate Public Schools, and they looked at all of the schools in Los Angeles. There are 2,068 schools in Los Angeles County. 1,338 of those schools are serving a significant number of low-income Latino students, but only 261 of those schools made it into top schools or schools that are serving serving Latino students fairly and seeing them score proficient on the CASP or the SBAC. Same pattern is true for African American students. There are 494 schools in Los Angeles that serve a significant number of African American students. Only 31 of them are in that top school that are really closing the gap for low-income students. We are proud at Equitas that 100% of our current 5 schools were listed amongst those top schools serving our students well. And so that's something that, of course, we're very, very proud in. Breaking it down even more, this shows some more of our success over the past 5 years or so. You're probably familiar with CASP or SBAC, which is how the state measures mastery amongst students. This is an average for all of our schools. The green line is Equitas, the blue line is California, and the red line is LAUSD. So you can see for every year at every point, our students were outperforming students in the state of California and in LAUSD in English language arts. As you can also see, we kind of hit our peak in 2016, and so we still have some work to do to continue to grow and serve our students really well in that area. But again, we're proud that our students have outperformed students in California and LAUSD. The same is true for our math scores. Again, the green line is Equitas, blue is California, and red is LAUSD. We continue to see an upward trajectory in our math scores and our math proficiency levels, something else we're really proud of. It is key in meeting these successes. A key to these successes is our teachers and our staff who make up Equitas. And we, of course, could not do this work without our amazing teachers who make the difference. And so here at Equitas, we really strive to offer some great opportunities for our staff and teachers. First of all, we believe in a strong organizational culture and value alignment for professionals and scholars. So something I hear all the time across our organization is that everybody knows what we're here to do. We're here to serve our scholars and prepare them for college. And everything we do in our organization is aligned to that mission. And we make decisions in alignment with that mission, and we live out that mission. And so that strong organizational culture permeates our organization. We also strive to have a positive social environment where long-lasting relationships can be built. So again, I often hear from teachers that their colleagues become some of their best friends, and that's a really positive environment to work in. They never feel like they're on an island or they have to close their door in their classroom, but there is a colleague across the hall or down the way who is there to support them not only professionally, but also personally for whatever they need. We also provide a lot of supportive professional development with relevant and frequent coaching and feedback. Every teacher on our team has a coach who observes them in their classroom about once a week, and that's not an evaluative observation, but it is an observation to pinpoint areas where they can grow and become even stronger teachers for their students. The teacher then gets to meet with their coach after that observation and walk through areas of glows or things that went really well, and grows or ways that they would push a teacher forward so that they can grow and develop in their practice. We also have professional development every Friday, so that again, teachers are getting additional growth in their practice. We also provide a clean, organized environment and school-wide behavior system that maximizes time to focus on instructional practices and scholar learning. So teachers are not wasting time teaching different procedures across the hallway or even having to clean up their classroom. We really make sure that it is a clean, organized, and consistent environment, both for teachers and for students. And then we offer an aligned and rigorous college prep curriculum. So we have a curriculum that is from achievement first, and it is aligned cross grade levels and cross curricular, so that we are sure that students are getting a high level of rigor in their curriculum and that they're building on from every year. So what they learned in kinder is built on in first grade, second grade, third grade, etc. And it's aligned both vertically and horizontally in our schools. These are just some of the faces of our teachers and our scholars. So we do believe in the joy here at Equitas. You can see this was the picture on the top left here shows you our twin day. We have some teachers twinning along with their students. We believe definitely in the hard work that it takes to help students be successful, but also that we need to have joy. And so this just shows you a few of the joyful things that have happened for our teachers. What do our teachers say about Equitas? We actually do a lot of surveys of our teachers. We want them to tell us what is working well and what isn't working well so that we can make those adjustments. We really do want to hear our teacher voices. This is just a couple of data points that our teachers have shared about Equitas. Over 90% agree or strongly agree that there's at least one person at Equitas who cares about me as a person. This goes back to those positive social relationships. Over 90% agree that all scholars and parents are welcomed and respected at Equitas. And 86% agree that they have received useful feedback from their manager at least once in the past 2 weeks, speaking to our belief in making sure that all of our teachers have coaching and development and growth opportunities. So what are we looking for? If you're interested in joining our team, what are we looking for in our Equitas employees? First and foremost, we want people who are committed to Equitas Academy's mission and believe that scholars are capable of achieving a college education. We want folks who thrive on reflective feedback, coaching, and observation. So folks who want someone to come into their classroom and give them feedback and help them grow. We want someone who builds strong relationships with scholars, staff, and families. I talked briefly about our parent partnerships and how important that is. We want someone who's on board with building relationships with with the families that we work with, as well as the scholars and the teachers down the hall. We also want someone who has shown perseverance in the face of challenges. This work is really hard and gets challenging, and we can't give up on our students. And so we want someone who has a track record of showing perseverance. We want someone who believes that every adult is accountable for every scholar's success. So no matter what your job is at our school, whether you're the front office manager, whether you're the chief academic officer, whether you're the kindergarten teacher or the 8th grade teacher or an instructional aide or an after-school teacher, every single adult is accountable for our student success. And so we want people who are going to take ownership and accountability for that. And then we want people who believe in educating families about advocating for their children's success and really do want to work with parents and families as partners. So if this sounds like something that you're interested in and you're ready to apply to Equitas, here are the directions for applying. You would go to our website, www.equitasacademy.org. You would click on Employment Opportunities, and then you'll see a list of current open opportunities. You'll click the blue Apply for this job button and fill out an online application. That online application, what you'll need in that application includes a resume or a LinkedIn profile, a cover letter. You'll be asked 2 short response questions that should be about a paragraph or so in response. So you'll need to type up your responses to that, and then 3 references. Our process looks like this, where you would first complete that online application that I just referenced on our website. If your application meets our qualifications, you would then be invited to a phone interview. If that phone interview is successful, you would then be invited to a virtual in-person interview via Google Hangouts. That Google Hangout interview would include a demo lesson feedback, a curriculum exploration, and an interview. So if you have a demo lesson that's already a video, we're accepting those video demo lessons, or we're asking candidates to teach a demo lesson to our interview team virtually. So you would prepare for one or the other of that. And then finally, a reference check. So that brings me to the end of my prepared notes. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, either put them in the chat box, or feel free to take yourself off mute and ask any questions you might have.
Thank you very much, Jessica. I do have one question. I get a lot of questions from students about cover letters. That what is it that they want to see in cover letter? What are some of the important things that need to be addressed there, that it's not the regurgitation of the resume? If you could just give us a little bit of guideline about that, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, great question. So the cover letter is definitely an important piece. We're really looking for cover letters, as you said, that do not just regurgitate a resume, but kind of paint the story of who you are as a professional. I'm specifically looking for a clear indication of what you've accomplished, what you're proud of. And then I always love to hear the personal side too. So why did you go into education, and why do you think you would be a fit for our school or our organization? And it's really important to show that you understand more than just like the mission statement from our website, but that you've actually spent a little bit of time understanding who we are as a school and why you see your qualifications and experiences and accomplishments fitting into our school. So as much as you can paint that story, that's fantastic. And then of course, this is probably a given, but I'll say it anyway. Often I get cover letters that have been copied, and like you're copying and pasting from previous jobs. And every once in a while that the cover letter has left the previous school's name in that cover letter. And that's a quick turnoff for me. So just do a real careful look to make sure that the cover letter that you're sending specifically indicates our school, and doesn't by mistake leave a previous district or school name in the cover letter.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I have a question. So I was invited to a phone interview. I applied and I was invited. So I just wanted to kind of like see what a successful phone interview would look like, so I can to be invited to a virtual interview.
Yeah, great question. Let me see if I can go back real quick. So this slide here shows, again, what we're looking for in an Equitas employee. And so as much as you can speak to some of these pieces, that would be success. So if you, hopefully, since you've applied, you're already committed to our mission to prepare all of our students for success in college. So explaining why you share that commitment, explaining anything from your personal experience or your academic experience so far that helps you be committed to that would be helpful for us to know. Any opportunity to talk about feedback that you've received and how you have successfully implemented that feedback and made changes. We'll want to hear about how you thrive on feedback. We'll want to hear about how you have built relationships and navigated through challenging relationships. So if you've ever had disagreements or conflict with colleagues, like don't be afraid to share that, but also share how it worked out and what you did to help that work out. Talk about how you've persevered through challenges, and then anything you want to share about your beliefs in accountability, your beliefs about scholar success and your role in that, and your beliefs about partnering with families and working with families. I know that's all kind of vague, but we definitely do just want to hear your story and how you think that could fit into Equitas Academy.
Thank you. That was helpful.
Yeah, good.
Hi, I have a question as well. I also applied to Equita, but however, I applied through Indeed, and the process on Indeed was just submitting a resume and putting my first name and last name. Do you recommend I also go to the website? Because I did not do it through the website.
Yep, I do recommend going to the website as well. It doesn't mean that your application was lost on Indeed. It just takes us longer to filter through all of those. So to have the fastest process possible, I do recommend going straight to the website. And then you can indicate there too, like which specific position you're interested in. So yes, go straight to the website.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Any other questions?
Yes. So how is the salary and benefit look like for, I know you can't give us like straight numbers, but like kind of ballpark, what does that look like being working here?
Great question. So are you talking specifically for teachers or just for any role in general?
Teachers.
Specifically for teachers. So we do have a salary scale, and that's listed on our website. So you're welcome to take a look at that. It's under if you go to our website, it's under employment opportunities, and then there's another box that comes up on the right. And there's a link to the salary scale there. So you can definitely check that out. I can say that first year teachers who hold a preliminary credential come in at $55,000. If you don't hold a preliminary credential, it's 51, like if you're on an intern or a permit. And then if you're an apprentice teacher, so that's usually a first-year teacher who's not yet a homeroom teacher, but is kind of in their training year. It's like more than student teaching, but less than being a full homeroom teacher. That's 53. So those are those straight up numbers, but you can see the whole scale. You get an increase every year for experience. And then you also have the opportunity to get an increase in your salary based on your performance with students. So we really do believe strongly, like our entire goal, right, is to help students be successful. And so for teachers who are helping their students to be successful, as measured by end of year assessments and their end of year performance review with their school director, they have an opportunity to move up on a performance tier and receive an increased salary based on their performance as well. Benefits, we have several different packages so that employees can choose the package that meets their needs and or the needs of their family, if applicable. And so you're able to choose from those options, but of course it includes health insurance, vision, dental, and then enrollment into CalSTRS, which is the California Teacher Retirement Plan. Any other specific questions? I talked pretty generally, but any other specific questions I can be helpful with?
I know you said the first year was 55,000, and I'll probably go check the salary scale, but does it affect also if the teacher holds just a bachelor's degree or a master's degree as well, or is it doesn't matter?
So that's a great question. It doesn't matter whether it's a bachelor's or a master's degree. Our philosophy there is that we really wanted to be able to give an increase for performance. And so that's where our performances come in, or that's where our increases come into play, is that performance piece that I talked about. We also believe that if you have a master's, most likely you're going to be more successful. And so it might be, like that's another way of moving up on the scale anyway, but it's definitely based on student outcomes, which is what we philosophically believe. We want to really pay our teachers well, especially those who are having great outcomes with kids. Good question.
I do have another question. Does Equita fall under the, I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly, under the 501 plan, meaning that because we are going to finish school with such, some of us with such big loans, does the school fall under the loan forgiveness area?
It's a great question. So I have seen our school listed as a high priority school. And so I would assume that means that it falls specifically into the 501, but I'm not 100% sure because I haven't heard that term specifically. But we are a Title I school. We are in a high need area, and we do serve predominantly students who are on free and reduced lunch. So typically those are some things that loan forgiveness programs are looking for.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Any other final questions? All right, well, I'm going to leave my contact information up if I can get back to that slide. There you go. There's my email address, and I'm guessing that the career office has it as well. But you're welcome to shoot me an email if you have any other follow-up questions. I'm happy to answer anything else that might come to your mind later on down the road. With that, if there are no other questions, thank you so much for joining me on this virtual session, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.